Hello friends, welcome back to Saujanya's English class.
This is our topic of the day, figures of speech. Figures of speech are words or phrases used in a non-literal sense. They add life and color to our descriptions. Why do we need to use figures of speech in our speaking or writing is they really add life and color to our descriptions. They make our descriptions lively. The most commonly used figures of speech are simile, metaphor, personification, alliteration, hyperbole, onomatopoeia, oxymoron, and repetition. Okay, so in this particular video, we are going to learn about these most commonly used figures of speech in English literature. Let's get started. So the first one is simile. It is used to make a comparison with the help of the words like and as. For example, she felt like a feather. What does it mean? As light as a feather. He is as brave as a lion. So his bravery is compared to that of a lion with the help of these words as and as. The baby's cheeks are red like a rose. So beautifully red like that of a rose. He is as cunning as a fox. So his cunningness is compared to that of a fox with the help of these words as and as. He is as strong as an ox. His strength is exactly like that of an ox. We are conveying that with the help of the words as and as. Both the siblings fought like cats and dogs. Cats and dogs in the sense like enemies. They fought like enemies. Okay. So with the help of the word like, we have made the comparison over here. And she is as cool as cucumber. What does it mean? She feels cool or her nature is cool, her attitude is cool. What is it over here? Yeah, obviously her attitude is as cool as a cucumber. So we are making these comparisons with the help of the words like and as. And then metaphor, a word or a phrase which makes a comparison by directly calling a thing with an unrelated thing. Simile is also used for comparison, but with the help of the words like and as, whereas metaphor is using a comparison by directly calling a thing with an unrelated thing. It actually has nothing to do with the mentioned one, but still we can make the comparison. Like how? Let us see the examples. All the world is a stage. As William Shakespeare rightly said, all the world is a stage. Stage in the sense it is like a dais. All of us perform on that stage. Okay. And the placid lake was a mirror. It was looking like a mirror, but without the words like and as also, we can show this comparison. He is a lion in the battlefield. What does it mean? Does he transform himself into a lion in the battlefield? No, it is not like that. His courage and bravery are compared to that of a lion. And then she was a rock star in the party. She was the center of attraction in that party. Her beautiful hair is a blanket of dark clouds. So here we have compared this hair with a blanket of dark clouds. We have directly called it. We haven't used the words like and as if you observe. That is what is the difference between a simile and a metaphor. And then he is the heart of the party. What does it mean? He is the life of the party. He is the heart of the party. It means that he is the main attraction in the party. Without him, the party would have been boring. We mean to say that. Okay, so with the help of this simile and metaphor, we bring about the comparison very, very easily. Try to use as many figures of speech in your writing as possible to make it look really beautiful, lively. And then third one is personification. It is used to attribute human characteristics to non-human things or ideas. Like how, look at the examples. My laptop is not cooperating with me since morning. Do you think laptop is a human being? How come it cooperates? Yeah, that is what is personification. Attributing human characteristics to non-human things. So here we have given human characteristics to laptop. And then onions always make me cry. Even here also we have given human attributes to these onions. My heart danced with joy. Do you think heart comes out and dance with joy? No, that is not the literal sense. As I have told you in the intro part, figures of speech we use in a non-literal sense. Okay? And then the wind started whistling. Wind started whistling. Here wind is given human attributes. And then a picture speaks 1,000 words. Do you think a picture knows how to speak? Not at all. It is a completely non-literal sense. A picture speaks 1,000 words. We can convey a lot with the help of a picture rather than the help of 1,000 words. Time and tide wait for none. They are also not human beings, time and tide. Why do they wait? And why don't they wait? No, it is not at all literal sense. So we have given human attributes to time and tide over here. That is what is personification. Giving human characteristics to non-human things. Alliteration. It is of two types. First one is consonants. Consonants is nothing but repetition of consonant sounds. Please clearly understand this. Consonant sounds. Many children make mistake in identifying alliteration because they think that it is consonant letters. It is not like that. It is consonant sounds. For example, Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. So here this particular letter P is repeated so many times to give kind of rhythm. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. So P is repeated so many times, not the letter but the sound. Okay, and this particular piece is taken from Martin Luther King Jr.'s speech. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin but by the content of their character. So if you observe this particular color, content, character, C pronounced as K is repeated 3 times in this. Okay, so this is alliteration. Consonance is repetition of consonant sounds, not letters, consonant sounds. And then comes assonance. Assonance is repetition of vowel sounds. Consonants, consonant sounds, assonance, vowel sounds. The light of the fire is a sight. Light of the fire. So here light, fire, sight. All of them are making I sound. Okay. And I sound is nothing but a vowel sound. And then go slow over the road. So here A, E, I, O, U. O sound is repeated over here. Okay. So that is what is assonance. Repetition of vowel sounds. What is consonants? Repetition of consonant sounds. Okay. These are all parts of alliteration. And then hyperbole. An expression to exaggerate a thing or an idea. What is meant by exaggeration? Making one as 100. That is what is exaggeration. Let us look at the examples. She is as thin as a toothpick. Do you really think that a human being can be as thin as a toothpick? Is it possible? Yeah, obviously it is not possible. So that is why I have mentioned like a disclaimer in my intro that figures of speech we use in non-literal sense. We mean to say that she is very, very thin. That is what we mean to say, but we have exaggerated. We have made that 1 into 100. Okay, as thin as a toothpick. And then I am so hungry, I could eat a horse. However hungry we are, do you really think we can eat a horse? It is not possible. And then he ran as fast as the wind. However fast we run, it is not possible for any human being to compete with the wind. I am so busy. I have a million things to do today. Million. It is not possible for a human being. He will die, of course. If he had to do a million things, he would die. And then he has a pea-sized brain. What does it mean? Actually, here size, we are not talking about the size of the brain. We are talking about the ability of the brain. And then God, this bag weighs a ton. Come on. No bag can weigh a ton. Especially the bags we carry. Otherwise, we can't carry. If it weighs a ton, we need a crane to carry it. We can't carry. So that is what is hyperbole. This is exaggeration of a thing or an idea. Onomatopoeia. These words suggest the actual sound of the thing we describe. Okay, so onomatopoeia, also called as sound words, figure of speech. What are sound words? Look at the examples. The buzzing bee irritated me. Actually, the buzzing particular word doesn't have any literal sense. Okay, so the buzzing bee irritated me. What is this buzzing? The sound that bees make. The axe fell into the river with a splash. The sound that the axe made when it fell into the river. Splash. The books fell on the floor with a loud thump. Thump is the sound that made by the books while falling on the floor. He looked at the roaring lion. See, roaring actually doesn't have any literal sense. Lion sound, whatever sound that the lion makes is called as roaring. That's it. The rustling leaves woke me up. Rustling, the sound that is made by the leaves. The gushing of the stream was getting closer. The sound made by the stream. So onomatopoeic words are sound words. They tell us about they suggest the actual sound of the thing that we are describing here. And then oxymoron. Pairing two words which are opposing or contradictory to each other. Like how, look at the examples. He told me to act naturally. What is this? Act and naturally? How is it possible? The director told the actress to act naturally. There was a deafening silence around. What does it mean? Silence and deafening? Noise is deafening. That is what we know, right? How come silence can be deafening? It was kind of, quite uncomfortable sort of silence. It happens sometimes, silence becomes deafening. We can't bear it. This is my only choice. See here, choice is given among certain things like certain number 1, 2, 3, 4. If we have only one thing to choose, how come it becomes a choice? There is no other option for us, only one. That is what is oxymoron. And then these online classes are a virtual reality. What is this? Virtual? Virtual is imaginary and reality is fact. How come we combine both these? We can combine with the help of an oxymoron like this. Even then meaning is very, very clear. These online classes are a virtual reality that is like unbelievable reality. And then my friend and I had a friendly fight over the dress. What does it mean, friendly fight? Friendly fight is not exchange of some serious words or something like, to spread bad air. It is simply like exchange of some cute words. Friendly fight. Fight can't be friendly, but it can be when it is conveyed with the help of an oxymoron. The lawyer stated his unbiased opinion regarding the case. Opinion, it itself means it is biased. How come unbiased opinion? That is what we do whenever we use oxymoron in the sentence. It is really beautiful. Try to create your own oxymorons. And then repetition. Repetition is used to bring attention to something. Why do we use repetition? To make that particular thing highlighted, to draw attention. Look at the examples. If you think you can do it, you can do it. What is this? Why have we repeated you can do it, you can do it? You decide, then you can do it. That is what we are intending to say here. And then it's okay not to be okay. Now what is this? It's okay not to be okay in the sense it is okay not to be perfect. Okay here, second okay means perfect. It's okay not to be perfect always. It is okay. The president said work, work and work are the keys to success. Why didn't he say work is the key to success? Because it doesn't hold any weight or emphasis over there. If we use repetition, it certainly gives that emphasis. It certainly draws the attention of readers. The boy was a good singer because his father was a singer and his grandfather was a singer. Why have we repeated so many times particularly? Because we mean to say that singing is in their family from generations. That is why obviously this boy was a good singer. There is nothing so very shocking about it. That is what we mean to say. The team captain stated his resolution to win the match, win the tournament, and win the hearts of his people. What does it mean? Why is this particular phrase is repeated so many times? Can't he say the team captain stated his resolution to win the match, tournament, and the hearts of his people? No, it sounds a bit flat. That is why we have used this repetition to emphasize on the thing. Okay, so winning, that is what he intended it. And these two lines are from a poem by Robert Frost, Stopping by the Woods on a Snowy Evening. Beautiful poem. And these lines, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. Here also repetition, beautiful repetition. Entire line is repeated here. And miles to go before I sleep. It is about distance. And miles to go before I sleep. So here sleep is compared to death. There are so many things that I am supposed to complete. I am supposed to finish before I die. That is what it means. Okay. So repetition adds emphasis to whatever we want to say. So we have come to our quiz. Simple one. Find out the figures of speech in the following. First one, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. They are happy alone together, alone and together. The hissing of the snake made him startled. He is as funny as a monkey. All religions, arts and sciences are the branches of the same tree. Famous quotation by Einstein. Alarm clock yelled at me. Sheep should sleep in a shed. Her hair is softer than silk. So these are the 8 sentences for our 8 figures of speech. Decide which is what. Okay, so this is about our figures of speech lesson. I tried to make it very, very simple. Hope you all have understood the lesson. Meet you soon with another interesting video, dears. Bye for now. Thank you so much for being with me.